First, I want to thank everybody for showing up. You know, see if I can make it through it. But we're gonna give our best. Anyways, thanks for everybody showing up. You know what, Dad would be he'd be right amongst us if he was here, just having a good time and BSing and stuff. But as you can tell from me, you know, we're all experiencing our different emotions or trying to deal with them in their own ways during Dad's illness and passing. All of us miss him as a dad, grandfather, great-grandfather, brother, uncle, and cousin, but also friend, supporter, and confidant. We all need to deal with his passing in our own way. What I found as a common denominator in all my emotions during this time was his humor, honesty, and storytelling, and many stories making himself the butt of the joke. I'd just like to mention and highlight some of these in hopes that they will be remembered, and that you can maybe ask Julie, Steve, or myself for the full version. But you know, that's the big thing. Dad was such a BSer and storyteller and stuff. But all I want to do, like I said, with my emotions I've been dealing with for the last probably 60 days and stuff was just every time I get down, I'd start thinking of the story, and instead of tears of grief, it was tears of joy, and some of them were just really belly laughs. So, like I said, I'm just going to tell you what I called them, and then if you need a further explanation and stuff. Well, way back in 1961, the city banker milking cows without a clue or very good instruction from the other side of the family. His quick and chance encounter with Marlon Brando as a kid. At Julie's wedding, putting an ice pick through his hand. Sending well, this is one of the best ones that he'd always tell, but you always say, don't mess with the paymaster, because sending a fellow sailor's pay records to Timbuktu in Fairbanks, Alaska. And he was kind of proud of that. Well, having a circumcision at age 72, he could dwell on that quite a bit. Sledding outing where he rubbed the tip of his nose off. Bringing the wrong car home from work. Of course, you can just imagine Mom says, "John, we didn't buy a red interior." This is back in the old Brunswick days, but digging for the septic tank in the backyard. And real briefly, he dug and dug and dug, and then he looked over to one side of his shoulder, and there it was sitting all the time. It was right next to him. My favorite, this is my favorite of all, was his big birthday surprise when he was turning 13. That was Friday the 13th. Well, he got his tonsils out. And you know, even into his 80s, if you wanted to push his buttons and get him going, he'd get just as fired up then as he did when he was 13. And then as a kid, trying to jump over a 5-foot barbed wire fence when you know you can only jump 3 feet high. Why he felt he was immune to mosquito bites all of his life, but that story can't be told in mixed company. Yep. As a lifetime lover of cats, how his winter rubbers would always get peed on every day. Or when Mom and Dad first got one of their first apartments, he hated that cat, but the cat ended up losing its tail when it got into the wringer washer machine. And then of course, I think we talked about that one before, but chasing a bad check passer into the men's bathroom stall. And he says, of course, the guy had his pants down to his ankles. He says, "So now what do you do?" And that was the proverbial, just, scared the crap out of him. When he was remodeling the basement down, and again, that was on Jersey Avenue, and him and the electrician would go back and forth because the electrician would leave the job and intentionally cross the wires. And of course, Dad went through a case of plugging fuses, and he thought he was going to outsmart him. Well, he never did. Horseback riding out in the Black Hills on his horse Diablo, and of course, Mom's new white sweater. It's kind of a funny story, so if you want more about that, we'll tell you. He thought he was cutting he had me over doing some work for him, and he wanted to help. You know, they always say that I could do it probably in 45 minutes, but with Dad's help, it was an hour and a half. But he thought he was going to helping me cut a tree root. Well, in fact, he was cutting my come-along cable. So, oh, I'm so sorry. And again, there's so many, many more. And Dad, tell you what, we've had a blast these last 60 days. Riding around in the pickup truck, on the side-by-side, the pontoon, smoking cigars in my man cave, touring the countryside. And just like he said, Tommy, I'd really like to get up to your place, but you know, the old man's legs won't do it. Well, we made it happen. And just, you know, please keep telling his jokes and his stories. And at least for me, the comfort is death is not a punishment, but a reward for a job of completion and one very well done. We all know that Dad had some explaining to do when he got to heaven, but even that makes me chuckle a little bit. In honor of Dad, I'm going to tell one of your favorite jokes. I hope I can do it justice. Well, there's this young lady that got into a patch of poison ivy. She got this terrible rash, so she went to the doctor, and the doctor said, yeah, you got a rash. He said, what you're going to have to do is fill up your bathtub with milk and then sit in it. And she said, doctor, does it need to be pasteurized? He said, no, up to your breast is far enough.
What's your breast?
Love you, Dad. That's all I got to say.
Pasteurizing is a kind of